Ladies and gentlemen, RosterWatch Nation, welcome back to the epic RosterWatch Podcast, brought to you by RosterWatch.com. I'm Alex Dunlap here, of course, with the Trashman, back home from Mobile, Alabama, getting ready to start making our plans and preparations for the NFL Combine in Indianapolis, where we're going to be having the opportunity to get to meet and kind of question all these players, and also, as importantly, get to address the various coaches and GMs from each one of these teams. We're going to talk about the NFC East and the NFC South today, start kind of workshopping some of our ideas for questions we these guys and all the rest. So you'll be able to hear our thought process and what we're doing with all that right here on the pod, because Trashman and I have not talked about it before. And then also we're going to be breaking down Zay Flowers, who Byron saw last week at the Shrine game. If you missed any of that, you can go back and listen to the podcast last week from the Senior Bowl, and you can listen back on demand with SiriusXM to hear the breakdown from the Shrine game that was on Sunday night. Just search Roster Watch in the SXM app. Trashman, what the hell's going on, brother?
Getting over a little travel malaise.
Can't believe you're acting all sick. What? Hey, man.
I mean, I'm not terrible, but there's definitely something.
Yeah. Just another quick reminder. If you could, two quick reminders actually. If you're listening to this in Apple Podcasts or on Spotify, if you can give us a 5-star rating and/or a review, it's super easy to rate on Spotify now. You can just click on the show and it'll say rate this show, and you can just click it. You guys all know how to do it on Apple Podcasts. So if you're listening on either of those, we just sincerely ask you give us a rating and a review over there. Also, Trashman, I have my window open today. There's a distinct chance I might need to leave the podcast for a quick minute because I have a case of wine coming in, and you have to sign for it. So if I have to leave, you're gonna for 2 seconds, you're gonna have to filibuster about these guys. Maybe you could talk about Zay Flowers or your favorite.
This is when you know you have a problem.
No, I don't. Listen, I have a problem paying full price for wine. I like getting the 15% off discount whenever you buy in bulk. Okay, so let's just start out talking about the questions for the Combine. And as you know, we're going to get to meet with each of these coaches, each of these GMs. Hopefully we'll be able to even get some off-podium stuff with them if they're cool enough to do that and stick around and do that with the national media. A lot of them are, some aren't. You want to start with the NFC South?
Sure.
All right. New Orleans Saints. So with these guys, I mean, not too many big-name guys set to hit free agency. I guess the biggest that kind of revolves around a lot of stuff would be Andy Dalton. Marquez Callaway is a restricted free agent, which is, I guess, remotely interesting, if only as to how it would affect the guys in the offense like we care about, Chris Olave and others. Mark Ingram is set to be a free agent. Juwan Johnson set to be a free agent, a restricted free agent. Jarvis Landry will be a free agent. Then the running back Dwayne Washington is going to be a free agent. They could cut Jameis Winston for I think it's like $4.8 million in cap savings. They could cut Traquan Smith and save themselves about $2 million. I think my question would be look, what is the story with the wide receiver core? And
that's the biggest question. That's surprising.
Right. Do you view Chris Olave as a player who can carry that group? And what about Marquez Callaway? Do you want him back? What about Traquan? Do you want him back? You can save $2 million against the cap. This is a team that's going to need to save some money. They're going to need to make some tough decisions. What are you going to ask about, Jameis?
Every one of these NFC South teams is the quarterback position. Every one is the biggest question.
Yeah. Well, and I think the local beat's probably going to be asking that stuff too. The local beat, they're going to be all over that. I think probably with the Saints, the local beat is going to say, is Marcus Davenport set to be free? I think he is. Let me just make sure.
Well, the thing is, the beat too, they're going to ask about players that are not fantasy relevant. So that's just going to be annoying to us.
Well, right. But I mean, it'll be interesting to hear what they had to say about Marcus Davenport, because he is a real difference maker, but he's had a little bit of trouble staying healthy. You know, he's a guy who they traded up for to get in the first round. What was it, 4 or 5 years ago?
So I don't think the question really is going to be whether they stick with Jameis Winston. I mean, like, if they're willing to play Andy Dalton over Winston, then I think Winston is gone.
Yeah. Oh man.
I think Derek Carr is a probable name.
Do you know who? Well, you can't ask about specific names in free agency from other teams, but I don't know. Would they consider Derek Carr still on that team, or do they consider him shunned from the Raiders, to where you could ask? I still don't. They wouldn't answer anyway. Do you know who needs a quarter? Do you know who could use Jameis Winston?
Carolina,
the Bucks.
Or Bucks, yeah. Back.
All right. Hey, well, let's go on to the Bucks then. So
yeah, again here it's the quarterback position.
Yeah, I mean, clearly. Tom Brady's going to be gone. I think Giovanni Bernard is set to be free. They have some interesting stuff with the free agents, man. Like, it's going to be like, are they going to be able to hold on to like Levante David, Jamel Dean, Blaine Gabbert's set to be free.
Yeah,
as
he should be. Release him into the wild.
Julio Jones will probably be gone. Rashad Perriman is set to be free. Kyle Rudolph, yeah, you forget that was a 1-year deal. He's set to be free. I'd be interested to hear just where they are. I think, man, it's just going to.
Well, I want to know if this is going to be the beginning of a rebuild for them. If that's the approach they're going to be taking.
Yeah, and a good way to ask that would be, how big a deal is it to bring back Leonard Fournette? You could save you could have a $3.5 million savings by just kind of moving on to Rachaad White and hoping for the best. I think the worst thing, I think it's important to find out where they are on Donovan Smith. He's been talked about as a potential cut candidate, the offensive tackle. I think it would bring 10 million in cap savings. But that would be bad. If this is a complete rebuild and they're having to rebuild the offensive line, it's no Brady and all the rest of this stuff. It feels like Rachaad White's price and dynasty, at least like we talked about with the Podfather and Cody up in Mobile, how high they are on him. It feels like they're pricing him in like he's going to be on a Tom Brady offense with this good offensive line built in and all the rest. If he's playing on a shitty team, I don't know how much I'm going to like Rachaad White. I guess it's dynasty and he's still young, so I worry a little bit about all those pieces being gone, even if they get rid of Leonard Fournette, and that is something where people are just like, oh, now it's Rachaad White season. You wonder, it's like is there systemic risk on that team that they're just not going to be in scoring position? They're not going to be any good.
Yeah, I want to know who. I'll be interested to find out who's not for sale for the Bucs.
Yeah, right. Okay, so just let's go to the Falcons. Who is set to be free for the Falcons? So some wide receiver. I mean, really not much here. Just crappy wide receivers like Kadero Hodge, Damiere Byrd, Caleb McGarry set to be free. That I'd be kind of interesting to hear what they say about him. The offensive tackle. He was an all-senior bowler before. Olamide Zaccheaus is set to be free.
What did you call him?
Olamide Zaccheaus. Olamide. What do you call him?
Yeah, that's what I call him. That's not what you said the first time.
What did I say? Olamide.
I don't even know how to say what you said.
Olamide Zaccheaus. My big deal. What did you see out of Desmond Ridder this year? Is he the future?
Well, that's the question. Again, the question for this team is Desmond Ridder your guy? I feel like he had the most rapport with Drake London.
Well, I mean, certainly, towards the end of the year, we saw the target volume go up for Drake London. And so here's the thing: the target share was good for Drake London all year. It's why we don't simply look at target share when we're doing our projections.
Yeah.
Because if you do and you put that into your expected points model and you get one of these teams that throws the ball 22 times in a game, it doesn't matter if this dude's getting 33% of the targets.
Yeah.
He's like a 19% target share guy on any other team if you're looking at just raw target numbers.
Yeah.
So I think that's
Ritter he looks more like the guy than Zach Wilson looks like the guy for New York, and they're hanging on to him.
Well, right, but they're hanging on to him as a guy who's going to, for the rest of his cheapish rookie contract, as a backup, and see if he can finally just not be such a dildo, right?
Yeah.
His teammates hate him, and I hate him too.
I feel like the Falcons are also in kind of a no man's land right now, so I feel like holding on to Ritter wouldn't be out of the question for them. Wouldn't be out of the question would be for them to draft another quarterback.
Oh no, yeah, not at all. That's an interesting. Where do they pick? Let me just go see. Oh, that's NBA Tankathon. I'm gonna go to NFL. So they have. I don't want to mock draft. Okay, so they pick. I know they pick in the top. Oh yeah, so they pick at 8. Where do they pick again? They still have their. I wonder. They still have. I'm just wondering if they still have their. If they have their second round pick still. So Atlanta. So yeah, they have 8. They have 45. They have 76. I mean, here's the thing too. They could go with another shitty quarterback like they did. Not saying Desmond Ritter's shitty, but maybe they could think about one of those Senior Bowlers once they get to like pick 111. They got 2. It looks like they have 2 4th rounders. That could be something that could be in the cards, I think. But yeah, sitting there at 8, maybe if, their guy could fall to them, or if there was somebody that they really liked, they have their 2. They have a couple 4s. I don't know what it would take. I'd have to look at the chart. I don't know what it would take for them to get up to 1 from 8 to take that one from Chicago. The only other thing I would want to say about Atlanta is that when Byron was at the Shrine Bowl, he said that the running backs were divvied up very specifically and purposefully per a source he had, to where the Patriots got all the scat backs and the Falcons got all like the big heavy duty, super duty backs. And so to me, I want to know, what did you think about Tyler Algier this year? If they're already looking for maybe a guy with his same skill set to make him a little bit redundant, we can't have him too high in the dynasty rankings.
I thought that he came on later in the season.
Yeah.
I don't see why they would move on from Algier.
I don't either. I kind of want to know. I want to know what they're thinking.
Maybe they were thinking we'll have some. We'll run this offense like we kind of do already.
Right, and we'll find a guy like Algier in case something happens to him.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Panthers, I think the biggest name here set to be free is, of course, Deontay Foreman. No one else really of much consequence, at all from a fantasy perspective. Chuba Hubbard's going to be around for at least one more year. He's set to be free in 2024. So we find out what they think about Deontay. Chuba Hubbard all of a sudden could become I think a pretty big value. And then of course, what do you got? What do you guys want to do now with the quarterback position? What is it like? Is there a plan? Is this something where it's like we're gonna wait and see? Does Frank Reich need to come in and like get to be around these guys? Did Reich have a plan for how he was set to develop any one of them? So PJ Walker's set to be out. I just want to ask him like what the quarterback talk was with Frank Reich coming in.
Because the thing is, you only need a semi-capable quarterback to succeed with this wide receiver core. I think with a capable quarterback, they got one of the at least most up-and-coming receiver cores in the league.
You think that the Panthers have one of the most up-and-coming receiver cores?
I mean, they have a lot of talent there. I think Terrace is good. I mean,
that's not one of the most up-and-coming receiver cores in the league.
I mean,
DJ Moore, Terrace, and what, Laviska or something? Like
Yeah, Laviska Shenault, somebody that we loved. I'm just saying, these are guys who, if given a decent quarterback, can thrive in fantasy.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I want to know, like, what does Reich think about Sam Darnold? What does Reich think about Matt Corral? What are the plans here?
Well, you might want to ask then if they're thinking about adding to the receiver position. Then, if you're not happy, I mean, if you don't think they have a capable,
well, they're going to be adding to the receiver position. Who do they have? We just talked DJ Moore, Terrace,
Chenault.
Laviska. I didn't mention it, but Rashard Higgins is there, but he's set to be free.
Is Shi Smith?
Shi Smith, because he was only a 2021 draft pick.
Yeah.
So I think that's it. That's it.
They have some developmental talent there, I think.
Yep. I think just the quarterback will be the question there. All right, Dallas Cowboys. So we move to NFC East. Dallas Cowboys. Who all set to be free? Well, we know that the biggest. Look, the biggest one is clearly Tony Pollard. What's going to happen with him? He's probably going to want about $9 million per year. We talked to some sources at the Senior Bowl saying that maybe what Jerry and Steven said over the course of the Senior Bowl week regarding really wanting Zeke back could be a little bit of window dressing or whatever. I don't know. Maybe it could be a little bit of something said to placate, maybe something to kind of like a company line kind of deal. Jerry and Steven Jones like to sort of communicate to the team through the media at times and try and keep everybody on the straight and narrow with the messaging that they have. I'm not necessarily sure that everybody around that club believes that Zeke is essential to bring back. I don't know.
Maybe Pollard's asking price is so high that if they pay it, they might just say, "Hey, we can't afford to bring Zeke back. We wanted to."
Right. No. Yeah. Absolutely. I just saw the UPS guy drive by. So. Okay. So another
question there would be Dallas. Would be Schultz.
Pollard. Schultz. Dalton.
Are they happy with how Ferguson and Hendershot are developing in that offense?
Yeah. Oh, and then of course the biggest question: what the fuck happened to Jalen Tolbert?
Yeah.
This is a golden opportunity to get that question answered. All right. Eagles. Look, my biggest thing is Miles Sanders set to be free. Boston Scott set to be free. How soon can you get Bijan Robinson up here? Right. With all those picks you got.
I would hate that.
But it's just why? He's going to be behind an awesome offensive line. It's like
being on the Eagles.
Yeah, but it's going to happen, trash man. So just get used to it. He's going to the Eagles. But that's my main question for the Eagles. I know that they have their wide receivers locked in. They have their court. I'm not the Philadelphia Beat's going to ask about Jalen Hurts and contract stuff. With those guys, tell me about the running backs. I don't even care about this ancillary shit. I don't even want to know if there's a third wide receiver they're interested in stepping up, like a Quez Watkins. Nothing. I want about the running backs, and I want to know, like, I want to ask Sirianni, is it built into the DNA of your clubs that if you were to get somebody that you felt was an elite talent, somebody who you could really give volume to, is this always going to be something where Kenny Gainwell is going to be splitting reps?
Well, I'm going to ask too if they feel like they have enough depth behind Goddard. I feel like when they lost him this past season, they had to go to the receiver position.
They say
to fill in for his targets.
They say, "How dare you besmirch Jack Stoll and Grant Calcaterra?" Okay, New York Giants. So they have a lot of guys who are set to be free. Of course, the biggest one is Saquon Barkley, but Matt Breida also is going to be free after this year. Daniel Jones needs to get paid. There's a bunch to ask these guys about. To me, look, the wide receivers, Richie James set to be free. Sterling Shepard set to be free. Darius Slayton set to be free. I'd like to ask, is Wan'Dale Robinson a guy that you think can step up to be an every down kind of contributor out of the slot? What is the appetite for bringing back Darius Slayton, especially if you bring back Daniel Jones. This is a bad class in wide receiver free agency. It's going to lift up the prices of these shitty wide receivers.
I think they might be more concerned with Isaiah Hodgins than Wan'Dale Robinson at this point.
Yeah. Well, look, he looked good. We can ask about we can ask Dable, what did you think about Hodgins? I think that would be a good one. But then clearly, it's everyone's gonna ask about Saquon. We won't even have to ask about him. Everybody's gonna ask about Daniel Jones. We won't even have to ask about him, right? Those are questions that the beat is just gonna ask because those guys are. It's a quarterback and it's another star player. All right, finally, before we get on to the Zay Flowers breakdown, we'll go over the Washington Commanders. As far as guys set to be free, Taylor Heineke. That's that's a sneaky one for me because Trashman, you and I really liked Sam Howell last year at the Senior Bowl and have kicked ourselves in the ass over and over again for having Malik Willis end up our all Senior Bowl quarterback over Howell, even though deep down we kind of both liked him a little bit better.
It was a coin flip, really.
Yeah, but it was a little bit too much of a projection with Willis, I think. All we saw was a few times we saw the arm that we wanted to see consistently, and we're like, man, all right, he's just gonna be able to harness that and turn into that every throw.
I think we heard too much scuttlebutt outside of our own
scouts. Inner
voices.
Yeah. Other than that, man, what Cam Sims is set to be free. Who else? There's really nobody. So I think I would just ask from a coaching perspective, did the team really sour on Antonio Gibson so much to where before the season started and before Brian Robinson got injured when he got shot, like it felt like Antonio Gibson had been kicked to the curb. Like, is he persona non grata around there? Will he ever get his old role back? I'm curious about that. I'm curious what they thought about Jahan Dotson in his first season, whether or not they think that he can kind of take that mantle as like an alpha wide receiver and run with it, or whether they still view this as kind of Terry McLaurin's wide receiver core. And then, I'm curious if they think Sam Howell's somebody that they can go into the future with, or if they're going to, try to add veteran quarterback help this offseason. Well, I mean, they're gonna tell you that they're gonna explore every option. They're gonna do what's best for the football team. We're not gonna leave any stone unturned. I'll tell you that much for sure. But they're gonna say all this stuff. I mean, how they answer that question. But I think that we can take some context clues from that answer and be able to sort of figure out. I mean, when
we just ask them how much they like Sam Howell.
Yeah. What did you see from him in Week 18? Did you like it? Yeah. And then I just out of curiosity, what did Carson Wentz sign with? So just so we know, and we'll research this more before we get down there. But I'd like to know, like, is he just out? Is his up there? So he's gonna be signed through 2024. Wow. So it would be he's a $26 million cap hit. This last year, they can get out. But they can get out in 2023 for zero dead cap. There's no dead. They ate all the dead cap stuff in 2022. So Carson Wentz is gone. We won't even need to ask about that. They're not paying him. They're not paying him the remainder of his 4-year, $106 million deal.
Carson Wentz has made enough money in the NFL.
Oh my God, dude. Yeah. Okay. So cool. Let's talk about Zay Flowers. So he's a wide receiver out of Boston College. And Trashman, I'd like to hear your first impression of this statement that I'm about to make. He's one of my favorites that I've watched yet. He's among the best I've watched yet. He's going to be he's at the top of the list. I'm not saying he's tops of the list, but he's at the top of the list.
He's like Xavier Hutchinson if Hutchinson had some yards after the catch.
Is that it?
Well, no. I mean, I got glimpses of like Antonio Brown in there.
Yeah, dude. He's got some Antonio Brown style to him for sure.
Or like a Brandon Ayuk. If Brandon Ayuk played more outside.
Yeah, and if he was a little bit smaller, right?
Yeah.
So we have the Zay Flowers Instagram pulled up here on YouTube for you guys watching, just so we don't get hit with, this is all stuff that, that he's put on Instagram. This is not owned by any ACC digital network or anything like that, where this will get flagged. So
we'll get flagged for other reasons.
Yeah, hopefully. I would hope not. Okay, so here's what I had. I handled the breakdown on Zay Flowers. Like I said, he's, of the guys I've done, I've only done the Senior Bowl guys plus Zay Flowers so far. Zay Flowers to me is top 2 out of the 17 that we've done. He is 5'9", 182, 9.25-inch hands, 29.25-inch arms. I project. Do you think he'll run about a 4.3 Trashman, 4.39, something like that? High 4.3s, just sub 4.4.
I mean, I imagine so. He's a really smooth runner on the field. Yeah. Really great at change direction, though. I don't know. I mean, his straight line speed, I'm sure, is going to be great. I mean, or suitable, but it's his ability to change direction on a dime.
It's eye popping.
And take his angles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. It's I wrote down eye popping, short area quickness and burst. He's really just a fun guy to watch, right? He's just Byron said that he was the crown jewel of the 2023 Shrine game. He was there. He's like the big name of the All-Star event. He was their big get. And Byron said he was awesome. He had concerns about the drops, and we'll talk about that later. But on the pros, he's an uber productive playmaker. He is a Biletnikoff Award semifinalist this year. He's Boston College single season receiving touchdown leader. Like Trashman said, just open field magician, right? Terrific speed.
It almost looked like a magic act sometimes, and he catches those balls, and you're like, how did he catch that? And then how is he 5 yards down the field already?
Talk about Zay Flowers for one quick second. I'll be right back.
Zay Flowers, like I said, when I initially saw him, he reminded me of Antonio Brown with, like you said, his short area quickness, his ability to catch the ball in space, contested catches as well, and to be able to just take the ball and run with it, change direction on a dime, get upfield. He's actually a really good kick returner too, for that reason. His ability to just see the field and make his initial moves, initial cuts, and then he's just gone. You're not going to catch him. He's just a really electric player on the field with the ball in his hands. Like you said, maybe he's a smaller player, a little bit undersized, 5'9", like 182 pounds, I think. And maybe the issue with them, the drops, maybe his small hands. We'll have to see what his hand measurements are.
9.25. It's fine. 9.25. 9.25. Yeah. So look, man, and here's the thing. He's got that dog too, Trash Man. I mean, I know people say it and stuff, and who knows, but man, he's feisty. You looked it up. You can look it up that he has a 58.8% contested catch rate, which is like super good. He forced 15 missed tackles last year with the PFF. That was tied for 39th among like 415 qualifiers. Just really, really good after the catch. The only thing is 2023.
Great vision.
Yeah, 22. Here's the con. It's his size. And I don't worry that much about the size because he played 2/3 of his snaps outside this last year, only 1/3 in the slot. You wonder, might he play in the slot at the NFL level? It's hard.
Depends on the team. Depends on the offense.
Yep.
The biggest issue for me is the drops. Yeah.
So 11% drop rate last year. And that's concerning because it fell in line with his career drop rate, which is 11.67%. You get that from 8.3% in 2021, 11.3% in 2020, 15.4% in 2019. But, dude, when he did get the ball in his hands, he's just too sick. He really, he's so good. He's one of the most fun guys to watch because he's the type of guy that he gets the ball in his hands and you just don't know what's going to happen next. You really don't know what's going to happen next. And so, fun player. I'm gonna have him ranked pretty high. We've gotten word that,
of the guys that we've seen thus far. I mean, I know because we saw Reed up close, he looks amazing. I mean, I feel like these maybe are kind of similar players.
Yeah. I do too. And so, Jaden Reed, of course, we love him and we've seen him live, and we know we've seen it with our own two eyes now. Byron, though, he's our eyes and ears. He's one of our business partners. He's seen Zay Flowers, and he can vouch for that guy too. Trashman, I guess I got to ask you, if you're in a dynasty rookie draft right now, and it's the beginning of the second round, and the running backs are gone, and you could choose between Zay Flowers, Jaden Reed, Rashee Rice, which one of those guys are you taking?
I'd probably take Flowers because I think I can get Reed later on.